Hello, Internet fam. Welcome to Sippin and Trippin with your girl, Tinny Tin Tin. And
ALA.
why you sound like a granny?
Mm. Why you hating?
Because I can.
Well,
I just love it.
today,
You're like, Ellie.
hey, it's just you gotta have a little bit of nasal in there. It's
I
winter,
know.
gotta protect my
It's
sinuses.
winter.
Any,
Oh my god, that's funny. Okay.
this is a podcast where we talk about our experiences in Japan, which is a couple years behind us now, while we just enjoy each other's company and go through the natural flows of our silly conversation. Come along, chance to sip
And
and
trip.
trip.
Without the drugs, though.
No drugs.
No drugs. Please and thank you.
All right. So
Make sure you get your
today,
snack and your sip.
why do I keep just saying today? I'm like, today,
Because it's
today.
today.
Sorry, I think I have like the giggles now.
That's
Sorry.
okay. Don't take this out. Leave this in. Leave this
Okay.
in.
Say the snack. Say the go get your snacks and stuff again so that it's clear. Like clear.
Okay. Go get your snacks so you can sip and trip along with us.
10. What will we be conquering in our podcast?
Today we are going to talk about how we took care of our hair while living in Japan and just kind of other stories about being a black person with afro-textured hair in Japan.
Indeed, it was in and of itself a struggle, but a beautiful one.
I mean, my hair grew a lot living there, so.
Yeah, honestly though, I think Japan's weather is perfect for, I guess, our type of hair. Just because I thought the Mushiatsui
Mhm.
summers really helped a lot. I don't know what it was about the humidity.
You just switched languages. Not everybody speaks Japanese.
Sorry, Mushiatsui means humid. So
Hot and humid.
yeah, so in Nagoya every summer, especially during the rainy season, like it was hot, it was damp, it was heavy. You're
Mhm.
sweating a lot. Your skin is getting all nice and brown and yummy looking, but your hair is like a tree, like it's just eating it up. Like, mm. I just kept my stuff really short for a while though, so that's why I didn't get to reap the benefits of all that growth. So you did though.
Yeah. Well, you kept cutting your hair, which worked for you, at the time, so.
It did. It was more of a maintenance issue for me. Like I was not ready to go through the struggle, but at the cost that, I looked androgynous or more like a
Oh.
boy or whatever. I did the best I could. But of course, once
Mhm.
I actually started doing stuff with my hair, then the students that I had were like, "Oh, your hair looks like soba." I'm just like, "Get the out of here. Get out of here."
You didn't tell me that one. Please explain that story.
Yes, actually, Um, so we should actually I will state here that during our time in Japan, Tenny Ten Ten actually took the wonderful time to teach me a hair skill called yarn braiding, where you braid acrylic yarn into your hair. And I actually learned it with the intent of applying it to my sister, but I was actually able to also apply it to myself. And the very first time that we installed yarn braids for me, you helped me actually. I'm not sure if you remember that, but they were like kind of like maybe 3 to 4 inches long.
I think so, yeah.
They
We were
weren't
at your
like the
apartment, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
And they my hair was still short, but it was long enough to hold them. So we did my yarn braids kind of short just to kind of try it out. But when I did that hairstyle, like I went to one of my classes when I was still with the conversation schools, and I had this one school of bad kids. Um, but I came in and I had the yarn braids in. I'm feeling myself, and they were like, "Eh, sensei, kaminoke wa yakisoba, soba desu ne." I'm like, "What?" Like they were like, "Sensei, soba, soba." I was just like, really? So I tried not to like
Wait, wait, wait,
get
wait, wait.
offended.
Sorry, I gotta explain. Kaminoke
Yeah,
is hair. She's saying
soba.
like your hair. What's going on with your hair? That's what they
Yeah,
were saying to her. Sorry,
it
please
just
continue.
it's okay. Well, yes, thank you for explaining that because I got ahead of myself. But they were just like they were just gone. They were just like, wow, your hair looks like we can eat it. Like I was just like, ugh. So I tried not to like really give it that much attention because if you go, hey, don't do that, like you're gonna encourage bad kids to keep on with their bad assery. So I was just like, you know what,
You're gonna have
I'm just
so
gonna
much to edit out.
okay, it's okay. So I just let it roll off my shoulders. I just tried not to really worry about it. But also too, even besides yarn braiding, I used to do like twists when my hair got long enough, and the
Hmm.
some other students at a not so bad school were like, "Your hair looks like caterpillars." So I'm just like, you know what? You know what? Can't win. I'm just gonna look like
Oh
something else
man.
all the time, and I'm just gonna deal with it and just roll with it. Because if I get offended and butthurt about it, like the whole class is gonna suffer. But it did teach me some new vocabulary, so that was kind of fun.
Girl. Let me so just existing as a brown person or even just a non-Japanese person in Japan, I would get stared at a lot, but
Mm.
I don't know about you. Whenever I got on the train with a different hairstyle, the same people who always saw me on the train would be shocked that I had a different hairstyle. So it's like the staring got worse.
Mm.
So I got into a habit of just like, okay, I'm gonna wear my hair in a crown braid for a week. I'm gonna wear my hair in pigtails for a week. I'm gonna wear my hair in a bun for a week. And then when I had braids, it didn't really matter because like actually no, when I had braids, that's when it was just like, what is this sorcery? Because the first time I put in the yarn braids. Oh, you know what? I got ahead of myself. I'm thinking of when I moved to a different part of town. Um,
Ah.
so let's just say from the first time I ever wore yarn braids. So the first time I wore yarn braids, some people were like, "Your hair wasn't like this when we saw you on Friday. What happened?" Like I put braids in my hair, but why? To protect my hair. It's summer. Why do you have to protect your hair? It's like, because my hair is a bit more fragile than your hair is. Oh, why? Because God made it that way. Like, I didn't say that, but like in my head, I'm like, there's a lot of whys. And I think it's nice that you're curious, but also I'm hungry. And soon I'm gonna get hangry. Let's have this conversation after I've eaten. You know?
See, I feel my experience was a little bit different just because I had short hair so much in the beginning, my hair wasn't changing a whole lot, but
Hmm.
as I was growing it out and then using yarn braids and the knot, I got into the habit, especially as an AET, I would change my hair every day. It would be
Oh, dang.
5 days a week, be a different hairstyle almost every day, unless it was like in twists and couldn't be styled a whole
I don't
lot.
have that energy.
I had that kind of energy because it was like it just kind of became like part of my shtick for the classes. Like the students would like pay attention to, oh, sensei, new hair. I'm like, yeah, new hairstyle. It's not a new hair, it's just new hairstyle. Like I did it different. And I've had students ask me, they're like, why is it different every day?
Yes, I got the
Especially
same thing.
especially if like I didn't have yarn braids in because for me yarn braids are fun because like one day you can have a ponytail, another day you can have half up half down, another day you can have a bun. Like it was just like exploration. But when it was just my normal hair, some days my hair fought me, like it didn't want to do what it did the day before. So instead of like forcing it to try and do the same style, I would wet it and just see how it wanted to lay and then style it from there because I just wasn't gonna wake up super early to go fight my hair. I'm like, you know what? Today it doesn't want to twist that way. So today we're doing an
Mhm.
afro. So I'm
Mhm.
like, just roll with it. Like, and I just rolled with it. So they had to get used to rolling with me and they enjoyed it. Like it became part of my personality really. And that's why later on when I got to do newsletters and stuff, I can incorporate black hair into my culture and teach them about my hair, and they were like, "Wow, this is so cool because it's just so separate from them."
Yeah. Yeah.
But I always feel so bad though because
Hmm.
coworkers and students, like they really just have kind of like the same cut like all the time. Like they might get a style change. They call it image changey, like image changey.
Actually, I
They'll
didn't
get
know that, so you taught me
You
something
didn't?
new. Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome. You're very welcome. Like if a girl were to cut her hair, like she's gonna keep it that length for a minute. She's not gonna like grow it out or make an effort to do much else with it. Like it's just what it is. Like they just kind of grow with it. And then,
Hmm.
other adults, female especially, would maybe change the hair color a bit. But as teachers, we weren't allowed to do a whole lot of crazy colors. Like
Yeah.
even ATs are pulled aside sometimes saying, "Hey, your hair color is a little bit too much. You're gonna have to make it more normal." That never happened to me, but
Dang.
I've had some teachers like they did like a light pink on top of their platinum, and they're like, it's borderline." I'm just like,
Hmm.
not my problem, but looks pretty. Like, what's
Oh.
the issue here? But honey child, hair. Did you ever like walk down the street, just catch a guy Gene or foreigner for those who don't know, um, who doesn't look like you wearing dreadlocks, and they still don't have the audacity to look at you? Like, look, sir, if you're gonna
No.
wear,
I was on a train with a Japanese guy who had braids, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, one, his braids looked fresh. I don't mean fresh like cool, I mean freshly done. Okay.
Okay.
They looked nice, but they were in his head too tightly, and I'm like, you are gonna lose a lot of hair.
Oh.
I'm like, you could have just not have done that. Um, but there you go. And then the thing is, I saw him with the braids maybe 2 days after I put in my yarn braids.
So maybe you inspired him.
Shut up. So either way,
He's like, yes, she is inviting me to be my true
no,
self.
she is not. Um, we want appreciation, not appropriation. So, um, it, I have seen some people with locks, but they were just not non-black people, right?
Mm.
And every time looked a mess. And I'm just like, you guys, some things are not for you. The same way there were some Japanese things I didn't do because I'm not Japanese. Like,
Yeah, but
boundaries, y'all.
you do know that Japan does not view
I know they don't.
they do not view appropriation at all. They just say, "Hey, they love what we
I would
are and
say
we
they
think we're
don't
awesome
view it
too."
the same way. Only because I've been in conversations with Japanese, because sometimes some Japanese people will be like, "Hi, where are you from? What is your name? Da 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 da. Here's this randomly serious question I'd like to ask you." And like, nobody believes me because they're like, Japanese people don't do that. I'm like, you guys, they do it to me. They ask me all the questions. So
Dang.
like, this one person said, do you think it's okay for foreigners to wear kimono? And I'm like, well, I mean, if they've been invited to cultural events and they feel comfortable wearing it, you know,
Yeah.
then, go for it. Like, if I'm invited to a traditional Japanese wedding, then I'm gonna dress the part like I'm supposed to. Otherwise, like, I don't have a reason to walk around in kimono, but that's me. Not everybody's gonna think that way.
Right,
But,
right.
'cause like this one person was like, I want to get I don't, no, sorry. They said, I don't like it when foreigners wear our traditional clothes. And I'm like, you're totally allowed to feel that way. Like, it's your culture. I can't make them not do it.
Mhm.
But, like, I can understand how you would feel that way just because whenever they saw the people in the kimono, they were usually doing things that are viewed as bad manners.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I mean,
I don't
you've probably noticed a few people who have been in Japan. They'll have like a whole photo shoot where they're like dressed up like a geisha. How do you feel about that?
I don't know if my opinion counts. First of all, um, but I mean, again, like there are some places that specifically attract foreign tourists to do that.
That's true.
So
But it's
to
how they make
me,
their money too. For
yeah,
sure.
it reminds me of Hawaii, honestly,
Mm,
with certain aspects of their traditional culture have now become a staple for tourists to consume. And I have mixed feelings about that. But at the same time, it's kind of like I'm not Hawaiian, so my feelings don't really matter ultimately.
that is a fair thing to say.
Yeah. So I mean, if Japanese people in general, let's say the majority of Japanese people are okay with it or they just don't care, that's for them to decide. I just choose not to partake in that, really,
Right. Right.
because I don't, no matter how much I know about geisha, there's still a lot I don't know about geisha, and I do know there's still a stigma with it. So, I don't know. I don't know.
It's okay not to know.
Yeah. But I mean, I've seen people and like during summer they wear yukata, which is like the
Hmm.
summer kimono, kind of, to put
Hmm.
it in an easy way to understand. And people will go and take pictures with their friends, and that's looked at as normal, even for like the foreigners to do it too,
Hmm.
because from what I've heard from other Japanese people, they feel like, oh, see, they're assimilating into our culture and they're embracing our culture. This is a good thing.
Hmm.
So the geisha part, I don't know. I can't say anything about that one. But like
Right.
wearing yukata when you go to a festival, or an event, or it's just like summertime and you're taking pictures with your friends, that's kind of looked at as being appreciation and
Right.
not appropriation.
Right. Right.
From what I've heard, I can again cannot speak for the whole of Japan.
It's just so fascinating because I think about how, culturally speaking, with Japan, like most of the ways that you could even appropriate the culture is very much based with like clothing,
Or anime.
anime, and then maybe other like sorts of things like, um, what would I say, like archery, like certain like aspects
Archery?
of it, like archery and judo and like other
Oh,
things that
martial
you,
arts.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
some people do
aspects,
wrap their whole identity
right?
around, I do Japanese martial arts. You should think I'm cool.
Like in calligraphy, like there's certain like aspects of Japanese culture that I feel like foreigners get to explore without some sort of stigma of appropriation,
Hmm.
which unfortunately with us as black women, like so often, I hate that I hate that people don't know how to just enjoy what we have without trying to copy it. And I'm not trying to like, it's just so it's just
No,
such a
you're
weird
you're
place.
you're you and I are always in this, well, almost always in the same place when it comes to that. So,
It's such a weird place. And I wish someone could like be like, I'm gonna copy your clothes and stuff, but it's like, oh, that's right. A lot of my culture as a black woman has been taken from me, so you can't really steal that. Like, like it's
yeah.
like for me, I feel like the last thing I have culturally is my hair. So it's
Mhm.
like it's such a weird thing to kind of watch people try it on like it's a hat. Like I'm just like, I don't,
Yeah. Well, I
I
mean,
don't
because
know.
ultimately a lot of people will be like, I'm gonna wear braids, or I'm gonna wear locks, or I'm gonna get afro perm so I can
Mhm.
have afro-textured hair, and then they don't take care of it. It
Yes.
rips out their hair, which is
Hmm.
kind of, that should have been the first warning sign. This is not for you.
It's like, and now you bald headed. Was it worth it? Where your
Remember,
edges at?
Remember that one cat we were talking about the other day? The Cat Williams had a joke about tigers in the zoo,
Hmm.
and someone ended up getting eaten by the tiger, and at the end, the mom's like, "Now, what did you learn?" And it's like that tiger's gonna eat your butt. That's what you learn. To summarize, because his answer is not family friendly.
It is not.
Yeah.
It is not. But I guess I'll rewind too, because I definitely had a couple students, mostly boys to be honest, um, that asked me whenever I did have yarn braids in, they're like, Sensei, can I have my hair done this way? And I would make sure I would gently tell them no, but I would also give them the reason why. I would say,
Yeah.
my hair is very kuru kuru, which means curly. I said,
Hmm.
so the yarn and my hair, they lock together. I said, but your hair is sada sada, which means smooth.
Straight.
And I said, or straight, sorry.
Oh wait, is
So
it smooth or straight or both?
well, it depends. Like for hair, it is more like a straight kind of
Uh-huh.
smooth kind of like the hair commercials. Ah, sada sada, like that
Okay.
smoothness kind of hair. So I would
Yeah.
explain to them. I said, your hair is like sada sada. So I said, if the yarn touches it, it's gonna slip out. I'm like, so it doesn't work. They're like, ah. But then I would go to a student and be like, yes, if you see his hair, it's more curly. I said, so it might help. I said, but still, it'll probably slide out. So I said,
And
no,
rip
I'd give
your
him like
hair
a little
out while it's
Batsu.
at it.
I right. I said I give him the little Batsu hands, like with the X, saying like, you probably shouldn't do this. And they're like, wakarimashita. I'm like, okay.
Wait, did you
So
say you give Batsit?
yeah, little Batsu hands.
English. She makes
Sorry,
an X. She makes an X with her arms.
but the students understand like, okay, don't do that. So I mean, they might explore it when they get older, but at least they heard from their one black advocate, you probably
Yeah.
shouldn't do this. So,
It's dame. It's
damn
no
it, damn
good.
it. Duh. Well, let's talk about our hair care then. So,
Okay.
as Chinny Ten Ten
Wait, I
said,
didn't
during
get to tell you my story.
oh girl, yes, rewind. Tell us
Well,
your
I just wanted
story.
to tell you a story about some of my students
Oh,
because
oh,
I
tell
had
us.
a class where I forgot how it came up, but like these girls were staring at my hair. I'm like, "Is something wrong? Are you okay?" And they're like, "We were just wondering, has your hair always been curly?" And I was like, "No, when I was a baby, my hair was straight." And they're like, "What?" And then one kid who is easily distracted, he wasn't paying attention. Who I was actually gonna call on him right before this conversation started, and he was like, "What do you mean your hair wasn't always curly?" I'm like, "My hair wasn't always curly." He's like, "But why?" I'm like, "I'm not ask Jesus." Like, I can't help you with that answer. It just wasn't. Um, so I'm like, my hair wasn't really very curly. I want to just I don't remember. This is just looking based on the pictures my parents took of me, okay? It seems
Mhm.
like my hair didn't get that whole afro texture until about 3 or 4 months.
Hmm.
So my hair was kind of straight slash wavy at one point. And they're like, oh my gosh. Because one of the girls, her hair started off curly and then it became straight on its own. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's a totally different way for your hair to work. They're like, that's amazing. They're like, can we, is it, is it okay if we touch your hair? Like, we don't want to offend you. I'm like, first of
Right.
all, thank you for asking, especially because
Hmm.
you're children, as opposed to some of the grown-ups on the train who tried to sneak touches. Um, and I'm like, no, go ahead. And so then she just poked it just a little. She's like, and I'm like, is it okay if I touch your hair? She's like, sure. So then I poked her just a little. I said, and then she just starts giggling. It was great.
Girl, when it came to hair touching,
Uh oh.
I mean, for me, I felt like my experiences with hair touching with Japanese people was overall positive. Yarn braids invited for me for people to touch my hair because yarn is not my hair. It's yarn. So go
Yeah.
ahead. Please touch it. Like if let's ask me first is all. Especially
Yeah.
the students would stare a long time. I'm like, do you want to touch it? They'd be like, eh? I'm like, yeah. Do you want to touch it? They're like, Yes. I'm like, you can touch it. Just ask me. May I touch your hair? I'm like, yes. They touch it. Ah, sugoi. It's like, yeah, it is sugoi. I know. And a sugoi means amazing, guys. I wasn't trying to stroke, like,
Or
pat my own
cool,
shoulder,
that kind of thing.
but it's like they really liked it.
I do like it when they're
Other,
like, "Suga."
I love suge. I love that version of that word. It's just
I
so,
like
it just
so
even,
suge is kind of like the male version of sugoi. But the
it
kids
just
like
hitting.
they hold it for longer, so they're like su like the sound goes up, yeah, and then get and they release it. Um,
Why do men get the better half of the
Thank
language? Like,
you. Like,
why?
you know how many times I got in trouble for saying suget, and then it was I told you before, like, for example, everyone knows this about me. I love Spider-Man, okay? I'm a child in a grown-up's body, and I'm proud of it. However, when I see Spider-Man, it's kind of like my brain goes out the window and I revert to a 7-year-old, which is
Right,
totally different thing. But
right.
there was one day I was with I can't remember which friend right now. I'm so sorry. And she was asking me my favorite character. I'm like, Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man so much. And then I just kind of stopped. Oh, wait, I'm good. I'm a grown up. And then she's like, wait, who's Spider Man? So she looked it up really fast. She's like, him? I'm like, yes, I love him so much. And then there was some event happening that she showed me. And I was like, Suge, that's so awesome. And she started laughing. I said, what? She's like, you can't say Suge. You have to say Sugoi. I was like, why? She's like, because you're a woman. I'm like, are you serious? And
Ah,
then I have a habit of using the male form if in gendered languages, except Japanese
mm.
isn't really a gendered language somewhat,
It
but
it's not even so much that
somewhat.
it's gendered. It's
Yeah.
just that men are allowed almost overly casual phrases and
I
women
know.
are not.
But the thing is, I
So,
got in trouble because A, I didn't say sugoi, but B, according to other Japanese people, I say it in a cute way, so I get away with it. So I thought,
ah,
does that mean I could say boku? Because that would be awesome. Because I don't. There are very few things in Japanese that are decidedly gendered, and the word for I and you can be gendered. So in
uh-huh,
general, you can say watashi. Everybody can say watashi, which means I. But men are and boys are supposed to say boku. And people who are tomboys, sometimes they'll say
uh-huh.
boku. I'm like, I've been a tomboy my whole life, so no wonder I like boku. Even before
But
I found it out, like, I always just liked boku from the sound of it.
but if you are a manly man, you're allowed to say ore.
Yeah.
But if
Or
you're
that
a
doesn't
girly
fit me.
girl, if you're a girly girl, you say
Watakushi.
atashi.
Oh,
Oh,
atashi, yeah.
atashi and watakushi. I forgot about
Yeah.
watakushi.
Yeah.
Why are you overcomplicating
I
it?
will
Being a
say,
woman
I
is
will
already hard
say,
enough.
I have gone back and forth between atashi and boku. It just, if I'm
Oh.
feeling extra girly, it just kind of happened naturally. I didn't practice doing this.
Mm.
Um, and if I'm in, one of my very tomboyish days, then I was like, boku wa da 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 da. And like, some people didn't even flinch. They're like, okay. And then other people are like, no, you have to say watashi. I'm like, okay, watashi wa blah, 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 blah. Did you ever do that though? Like, did you
But
ever use like suge or,
um,
yabe, other things like that?
mostly when I was with my sister, we would kind of play more around with the extra casuals.
Mm-hmm.
In person though, maybe not so much unless I was very comfortable with the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably still wasn't even until my high school year, which was my last year in Japan, period. So, but I can't say. I know that I recently made a Japanese friend laugh because I have a friend of mine. She just recently had a baby.
Aw.
I was texting her a few months ago while she was still in utero, or while her baby was still in utero, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying to me, she was like, "I haven't decided what my baby's name will be."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "No, not yet. Do you have any ideas?" And I answered, "She don't." she like she wrote back. She's like, Anna, your text made me laugh out loud. I was just like, because I just said it so plainly. Because like,
She
there's
don't.
so in Japanese you say I don't know as shiranai or shirimasen.
But you're
Shirimasen
also
is the most
kind of not supposed to say it too, which makes it twice as funny.
so when I said she don't like it just made I said it so it came so left field for her that there was comedy in it. So I think most of the
That's a
time when
very
I've
like
used it,
manga anime boy response.
yes. So like it made
Yeah.
her laugh, but I feel like oftentimes that's usually how I end up accidentally using Japanese anyways, with just like some sort of comedic effect, whether I
Mm-hmm.
meant to or not. Like I did not say it that way to make her laugh, but it just so happened to do so. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've never gone in going, I want to say that, but usually when it's happened, it's usually just made people laugh. So I was like, okay, I'll just roll with it. Yeah, I'm a comedian.
That's
Why I laugh like
adorable.
Yogi Bear? I don't know. I just, but,
Nice.
but sorry to rewind back to the point about touching hair.
Yes.
Again, Japanese kids and teachers, even most of my interactions with touching hair was positive and
Mm-hmm.
reinforced with like, hey, as long as you ask me, you can touch it. No issues
That's
really.
good.
My issue was with other foreigners.
Oh.
And I'm like, y'all y'all know y'all should know better, okay? So like I had two major assailants.
Uh-oh. She using the
both of them
$5 words now.
both of them at church.
Oh,
So
that's
I'm just
even
like,
worse.
the first one was with a woman who was from Uganda.
Eh.
So yeah, she looked like us, okay?
Uso.
Like,
Uso. Uso.
so I'm like,
Uso.
you you uso janai, yo.
Uso.
Uso janai.
Uso.
Not a lie. It is not a lie. This woman was
No, I'm
straight up
using
out
uso as
Uganda.
in no way, as opposed
Ah,
to,
hold on,
yeah,
hold on. Oh, see what I'm saying, see what I'm saying. I thought that was sono, sona,
both,
sona.
both.
That's usually what I'm used to hearing.
No,
Maybe I've been listening too much on
because
anime.
the
But
kids
anyway,
would always say uso, uso. I'm like, I'm not lying. They're like, teacher. It also means no way, because you say no way, but I don't say it like that.
so so basically, this woman at the church, she was a kind woman. It's just that for a long time, I think I might have attended the church for about flipping 6 to 7 months before she actually acknowledged my existence. But
Mm-hmm.
if I brought other black people with me, she would talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we already started off on a very odd foot.
あ、ちょっと待ってください。
Mm-hmm.
Ne.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? If you brought other people, she would talk to them, as in, like, she stops talking to you.
As in, we knew of each other's existence at the church.
Yeah.
But say for instance, like for one visit I went to the church, I brought a friend with me. We're gonna call her E.
Okay.
And she spoke to E while I was standing
Mystery.
next to E. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. E. But did not address me. And then
Uh,
again, I think I want to say it was with you too. I know there was a time I brought you with me and she spoke
uh-huh.
directly to you while I was standing next to you and she still did not, and
Oh
I would be
dear.
like, hi, and she would just kind of swerve and I'm just
Oh
like,
dear. I
what's
don't
this
even
heifer?
remember
What
this
is this
lady.
heifer? Anyway, let me bring myself down. So suddenly,
So what is this
this
process?
suddenly I popped up on this woman's radar when I
Uh-huh.
did a certain set of yarn braids where I guess I outdid myself.
Oh.
Because they were setting nice, all right? They're probably the longest way I'd ever done them up to that point.
Uh-huh. Big things
But
popping, little things
you
popping.
know, you know, I'm just trying to work it out for myself. And
Mm-hmm.
one day at church, suddenly she realized I exist and came up to me. And she says, as she's reaching out, "Oh, your hair's so beautiful," but as she's saying it, she's already touching it.
Ew.
And I'm like, I've literally been in this heifer's presence on and off for 6 to 7 months, and she's already touching me.
Are you sure you're not like semi-invisible?
Girl.
Like some days
Also,
they see you, some days they don't.
girl, I'm also gonna be
Sometimes
honest.
it tastes like a nut. No, wait. That sounds so gross.
Um,
Shut up! That's not what I was going for. That's what I get for trying to be funny. I'm be quiet now. Please continue your story.
so I mean, and I should, I guess I will disclaim this story as saying also at this church in general, a lot of people just did not know I was there.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, I had to reintroduce myself to people so many times at this church, and I was a
Oh
regular
dear.
attendee. It was
Oh dear.
really, really aggravating for
For
a
how
while.
long?
At least the first year. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's your first visit? I'm like, no, I've been here. Like,
Oh, okay,
just
no, no, that happened to me too.
like, okay.
They said like it's nice to meet you. Is this your first time here? I'm like I was here 3 days ago. They're
I
like,
mean,
oh, I talked to you. Oh, so,
now,
like,
in general, I don't want to, and well, I hopefully get to talk about church in the future too. But it's just like the pastor. I feel like I think he always kind of knew I was there after I started coming. He's a good egg. But in
he's a
general,
good
like
egg.
the congregation was always in flux. So I know there was always a ton of different faces, a ton of different foreigners. So I try to write it off as, people just not being confident and who's always showing up. I try to just write it off as that.
Hmm.
But anyway, in this case, with this particular woman, she is finally acknowledging my existence and touching me at the same time. And I remember as she's touching it, I'm kind of like backing away from her, like, it's nice to finally speak with you. And she's like, oh, I've seen you here, but I thought you were like a student. You look so young. So really, she was trying to say, I
Okay.
don't, yeah, like I don't talk to you because you don't look like you're my age. And she's probably at that time in her mid 30s, and I was in my maybe mid 20s. So I'm just like, yeah, but you don't gotta
Um,
swerve though. Why are you swerving so hard? But anyway, not the point. So the next couple weeks follow it, and every time she tries to talk to me, she has already got her hands in my hair, and I'm just like,
ew, ew,
she is
ew.
she is trying to catch these hands, but I'm in a church, so I'm just like. So then
I mean, that
there was
didn't
one.
stop Jesus from going out to the desert, spending who knows how many countless hours weaving a rope so he can go back to the temple and whip people. So
Well, I did not do that to her. However, I will say this: there was a
different motivation,
particular
but still, their beatdowns happened in church.
there was a particular visit where I had enough, okay? Like
Hmm.
there's always a limit. Like I'm very understanding. I try to give you like, hey, like I'm trying to like be respectful to her, but also like, why does this woman can't not touch my hair?
Can't
So
not.
that's just where we were.
That's how I know you're frustrated still.
Just because I'm reliving it as I tell the story, I think.
Yeah.
So it
That's
was a particular
aggravating to have someone keep putting their hands on your body like that.
girl, honey, okay, let me just finish the story because there's another one, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Hey,
So
I'm here to listen. The audience is here to listen. Tell your stories.
let me unpack this, okay?
Talk that talk.
So it was Christmas Eve. It was actually one of the few times I went to church on a Christmas Eve kind of
Hmm.
sermon.
Hmm.
And I actually went there to catch up with Mr. Rod, who you met.
Yeah,
Shout
he was
out.
cool people.
Need to catch up with him soon because Valencia keeps like
And Miss
taking
Lydia
care of
as
his
well.
kids. Ah, I just caught up with her a few months ago. Ah,
Nice.
my mama from another planet. I don't.
What?
Anyway, she took good care of me. So,
She did. She gave me her suitcase.
girl, she let me bake cookies for her, and then she paid
Oh.
me. I was just like, this woman
Oh.
is just trying to bless me. Like, I just couldn't. I
Yeah.
couldn't handle her goodness. I
God
couldn't. I
bless
couldn't
her.
handle it. But anyway, with this woman, hold on, let me sip my water. Girl, with this woman, Christmas Eve kind of sermon, she stepped the same line,
Uh-oh.
talking to me and just touching my hair, and I'm there with Mr. Rod, and I don't think maybe he was with me at that moment. I don't remember, but she touched my hair, and I just remember whatever she was saying, I just literally cut off in my mind. And as
Uh-oh.
she was talking, she like looked over at the other person sitting next to me, and I backed away from her and just walked away, like while she was talking. And I don't do that,
Yeah.
but I was done. I was just done. So
But
then the
I
next
don't.
time she saw,
Why?
hmm,
Why? Why? Why?
there's more, honey. There's more.
Not you. I mean, who just let me
It was
talk to you while I caress your hair, even though you're essentially a stranger to me. Like, what is that?
I don't know. So then, a few weeks later, when she did catch me on the flip side at church again, she apologized. She's like, I'm so sorry that I touch your hair. It's just always so beautiful. And I was just like, oh, I appreciate your appreciation, but like, I don't necessarily mind. I said I would just rather you ask me first, like you know. So then she was like,
Yeah.
but I touch it because I really want this hairstyle as well. So
Just ask, girl.
can we arrange it so you can do it for me? And so I said, let me see what I can do. So um, as the weeks progressed, I think there was another time we met at church where I showed her the types of lengths that she would like to work with for yarn, just to kind of show her how thick they can be or whatever. And she kept saying she wanted them short, just like long enough to pull it back into a ponytail. And I kept trying to explain to her that, if they're really short all over, the front hair is not going to reach back into the ponytail. So you should probably go a little bit longer than even you're expecting.
Hmm.
But she was like, no, no, it has to be this length. But oh, also does like smoke get stuck in it because where I work, there's a lot of people who smoke, so will it smell like smoke? And I'm like,
Yes, it will.
for me, I've not had any smoke around
I
it, so I
found
couldn't.
out because I went somewhere with a friend. Oh, we went to a bar restaurant place and somebody was smoking and the smoke was in my hair.
Oh, see, I didn't really know what to tell her. I told her, I said, well, if it does, like all you got to do is like maybe just spritz it with some
Just wash
water with
it.
some sort of like scent in it. It can probably get rid of it without too much trouble. But anyway, we finally arranged for a date for us to meet so I can do her hair. And we were going to meet at, I believe it was like, it was on the yellow line. I don't remember what stop it was now, but our arrangement was I was going to wait at the station at a certain exit and she was going to come get me and we'd walk to her apartment. Now, mind
Wait,
you, it's
this
winter.
story is starting to sound very familiar.
It's winter. It's cold. And I already had the sniffles, but during that time as well, I did not have a cell phone. So I had to tell her, "Hey, I'm on my way. You'll find me at this exit. I'll see you there." And then I left, and I had a computer open for Valencia so that hey, if she says anything, let her know that I'm on my way there because she knew I didn't have a phone. But I
Hmm.
was like, I want to make sure that if she needs any like someone to correspond with, at least she can reach my sister. So that's what I was trying to do,
Yeah, that was kind.
girl. I tried.
Attempts were made.
I go to the station. I go upstairs where it's cold so I can be seen on the corner of the street at this exit and I wait. I wait with a box of yarn and scissors and hair supplies. 20 minutes go by. 30 minutes go
This
by.
isn't a funny
40,
story, but the way you're telling it's funny.
45 minutes. And then I'm just like, where is this woman? And so I'm like looking and I'm like, I know I'm at the right exit. Like, I don't see anyone. I didn't even see a single brown person walk down the street. So it wasn't like I got anyone confused. I was just
No
like, she's
way.
just not here. Like, so basically, I got stood up. So I was just like, okay. So I
No.
just go home with my sniffles and my cold hands. I go home and I'm talking to my sister when I get in. And she's like, well, she's messaged here. She said, I had to re explain to her that, yes, she does not have a phone. I'm her sister. She's at the station. So I'm not understanding why you can't find her. So then I'm like, okay, well, I guess there was just some miscommunication. But for me, I was like, no, 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 Anna. You knew deep inside that you already start off on the wrong foot with this woman. So maybe it's just for the best that you don't do her hair.
Mhm.
Maybe you're just not the one. So I
Mhm.
just made sure to, message her when I got home. I said, "Hey, I'm not sure where you were, but I'm back home now. It got too cold for me." And then she tried to tell me later, "Hey, I was at the nearby Circle K, but I fell asleep." And I'm just like,
Fall asleep at the
"Wait,
Circle K? Or like,
honey,
or wait, or she went to the Circle K, then she went back home and fell asleep.
she said she was waiting at the Circle K, and I guess she was sitting at like one of those like sometimes they have like little places where you can sit and look out the window and drink coffee or something like that. I guess she was sitting up
Ah.
there, fell asleep because she had just gotten off work and was not even really able to come get me because she fell asleep while waiting to come
Okay.
get me.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I just told her, you know what? I'm really sorry. I said, but I just don't think this is the right fit. Basically, I really hope you can find someone to do the hair for you. But it's just not gonna be me. And she kept trying to like get me like, hey, actually we could just try again. I just feel like Satan got between us. I was like, no, it's not. This is not about Satan. This is just about us not doing this. So I released it to the universe and just let it go. And I think a few months later, she actually had to cut off all her hair because she got a bad perm. So I was just like, you know
Oh
what?
no.
I don't know. I'm not gonna call that karma. But she looked really nice with short hair. So like, I hope that she got to, flow with it. But it just wasn't the right fit for me to do her hair. Thank Jesus, because I'm just like, no. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain that to a fellow black woman. She knew she was up.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Hey everybody, ALA to close today's episode. There is more to talk about when it comes to hair, and I do go into another story of somebody touching my hair. So please, please, please tune in to the next podcast. Have a great week, and thanks for coming along with us while we be sipping and tripping.